What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Bullish Chips, where we use a proven and repeatable strategy to make money every day. This channel happens to focus on the Bullish Semiconductor ETF, which goes by the ticker symbol SOXL. But the charting method and the trading method that we use can be implemented with any company that's publicly traded in the US stock market. So make sure you hit that like button, and if you enjoyed this video, really helps the channel grow. Thank you again to all those who continue to tune in. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell as well. That way you are alerted when we release new videos. We do release bonus content from time to time, but the nightly and weekend videos, like today's video, focus on identifying triggers and targets for trades ranging from scalps and intraday trades all the way up to long-term trades or swings or leaps, whatever you want to call them. So if you want a deeper dive into exactly how we set up our charts, the trading levels, the broadening formations, things of that nature, make sure you check out that bonus content on our YouTube page that we talked about. There are a couple of videos that dive deeper into that for you. There's also a link to a free PDF reference guide for the strat, which is the base of our charting and trading method. So you can find that in the description of this video. So while this video does mostly concentrate on triggers and targets, I encourage you to watch the full video because we do go through some pretty good insight into price action on all time frames, frankly. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the agenda. We will recap the price action from Friday, December 26th. Then we will zoom out like we always do to look at the week, month, quarter, and year charts. Then we'll zoom, not zoom back in just yet, but we'll take a look at the market maker's expected move for the week of January 2nd. Then we'll zoom in and set our 4-hour markers and the triggers and targets for Monday as well as the week. And then we'll do a quick review of the triggers and targets for the month, quarter, and year as well. So if we take a look at Friday's price action, let's get the right chart up here. You can see pretty flat, right? If you were able to take this soft higher low here, for the downside move, there was a little bit to be had there, but otherwise pretty much a flat day. If you're a scalper, you could have picked some stuff off here in the chop, but from a short swing, midterm swing perspective, even long-term swing perspective, just a flat day. Not really a lot much to say there. So we'll go ahead and get a little bit further into the analysis. Won't really go over like the 15 and the hour, 4 hour, just because we'll take a look at the 4 hour here in a second. But basically another flat day, right? And we're in this balance range basically. It's a pretty big range that we've been in, but it's there. We're respecting it. Respecting the levels. Let's bring up this is better. There we go. We can see this is the 100 fib, I believe. Yeah, 100 fib extension of the bull flag from April 7th. We talk about this quite a bit. It's still trying to get back above that, but we have this major resistance at the 46.79, which is the 50% level of 2024. You can see it's been support and resistance, major support and resistance on the daily chart for quite some time now, since October. So we wanted to continue to take this higher low, on the week, where we bounced off of last quarter's high. Last quarter's high. And taking this bounce up, we've got the higher low on the day time frame. So we have started to get this higher, this trend moving back higher, right? We've got the higher low followed by a higher high. That's going to start an uptrend for us. But again, we've got the major resistance here at 46.79. Market maker's expected move high is there at 47.27 as well. So, we're going to see some resistance there. But like I said, we've got the higher low and higher high on the day. So we've started an uptrend. If we look at the, look at the week chart here. Again, we've got the bull flag, right? Here's the April 7th low. Here's the flagpole. Here's the flag. And we've got our fib extensions that we've got laid out for us. So again, we're just messing with that 100% fib extension of the bull flag low. So got the higher low. Does come from a lower high. So we don't have an uptrend started right now, but more of consolidation, right? We've got the lower high, but higher lows, higher lows. We'll see if this is going to be a lower high again, but if it is, then we've just got consolidation. So we want to continue to watch that. Of course, it was a holiday week, so not a lot of movement. It did finish red, but just slightly. So just keep that in mind as we go into this week as well. It's another holiday shortened week. Might be a little bit more trading going on this week than it was last week, just because Christmas time, a lot of people are traveling. For New Year's, not quite as much, but we'll see how it goes. Just the name of the game is patience right now. See if this Santa Claus rally kicks in. It's usually the last week and the beginning of the first week of January is when it statistically happens. So we should see a little bit of a pop this week if that is going to happen. But again, we've got that major resistance at 46.79. We've got a weekly broadening formation that comes through, basically intersecting where we would hit it if we already hit it next week. So watch for more resistance at this level. And again, that doesn't mean we have to reject and start going down. We could just get sideways action at this point. So right now, patience is the name of the game. Just waiting for the month to end, the year to end, the quarter to end, because by Thursday of next week we'll have a new quarter, a new month, new week, new year. So we really need to just try and see how we're going to finish out the year to set us up for 2026, right? So we're running into some resistance. If we can poke through, we should see a nice little pop, right? Looking at this the monthly chart, we've got the higher low, and we just need to see, are we going to get this 2 up to lock in this higher low that it looks like we have so far. So not a lot of days left, and some pretty big resistance to get through to try and make that a 2 up on the month. So not sure that's going to happen. What that does set us up for in 2026, that first month, we've got to really watch to see what we get. If we close at December as an inside month, if January goes 2 down, it still might not be the worst thing in the world, because that could be setting up a 1, 2 down, 2 up to go back to the upside. At the same time, if we go 2 up in January 2026, that could be setting a 1, 2 up, 2 down to go back to the downside. So with this inside candle on the month, it's just showing we need patience, right? We are towards the upper, in the upper third of that candle with the close on Friday. So again, want to continue to see that push up. Maybe we can get above that 46.79 and make a meaningful higher low, maybe on the day chart. Would be a good start. So again, patience is what we're is what we need to have. But again, nothing is breaking down from these higher time frame charts, right? Come on, work with me, Thinkorswim. There we go. If we look at the quarter here, right? Again, here's those fib extensions of the April 7th bull flag, and we are looking at a 1 combo 2 down, combo 2 up that we're in right now. As long as we're above this, this 36.15 right here, that strat is still in force. And again, that magnitude is up here at 70.08, because it's not the high of the 1, but the high of the candle to the left of the 1 in a 1, 2 down, 2 up reversal. So, 70.08 is what we're looking for on the quarter. Again, just need to stay above that 36.15. But it's also important that we continue to go 2 up in the first quarter of 2026, because if we go 2 down, we're coming from a lower low on the quarter perspective. And so if we make a lower high and lock this in as a lower high and go 2 down in that first quarter, now we're looking at a possible downtrend, right? Not a whole lot further to go to make a lower low besides 0, right? But we did technically make a higher low on the year chart. So let's flip to the year real quick. All right, and we've got technically a higher low right here, right? The magnitude of the strat was 621. Yeah, 621 down here. We were able to bounce at 723 here, make a nice little hammer candle on the year, try and reverse this 1, 2 up, 2 down that we were in. So again, we're going to try and continue to push up. If we can close over that 46.79 level, that I think that'll be pretty major for us. But if we can go 2 up in that first month or two of 2026, that gives us a 2 down, 2 up, with again of that 70.08 as the magnitude of that move. So if we can continue to stay bullish 70.08 would be that magic number that we should be shooting for. But again, you know, holiday week this week, you know, we'll see what happens with the Santa Claus rally. Just really need to exercise patience at this point, right? Let's look at now that we kind of looked at the zoomed out view, let's look at the market maker's expected move. Oops, let's go back to, there we go. Here we go. Let's get the right chart out. That will be, let's just go with the daily. All right, so we can see that the market maker's expected move for this week is between 47.27 and 41.15. So how do we get that? If you're not familiar with this channel, what we do is we take, this is a Thinkorswim. We go to the options chain and we look at the options chain for January 2nd, that's this week. And we look over here to the right, and in these parentheses, you'll see a plus or minus number. That is the market maker's expected move. So for this week, they expect plus or minus $3.06 essentially to the upside or downside. So if we take the close price, 44.21, and we add $3.06, we get 47.27. And if we take that 44.21 and we subtract $3.06, we get this 41.15. All right, so that's how you are able to get the market maker's expected move. Let's take a look at things. What it would imply is that we could go, oops, let's go to the week. Let's go to the week. There we go. Let's get the right chart up here. What that would imply is, you know, we should be making, oops, there we go. We should be making a 2 up for a higher high on the week. But there is still a possibility to go 2 down because last week was so condensed, right? So we want to continue to, there we go, this is a little better look here. We want to continue to watch and see, right? We've got this consolidation that we have here off of the higher low on the week. But again, if we do push down and try and, you know, retest, you know, maybe last month's high, last month's 50%, I'm sorry, the month flip or last month's 50%, right? We're obviously going to be pulled down past that market maker's expected move low. But again, shortened holiday week, so I would just expect chop, slight push higher, you know, as we did this week. Not a whole lot more to pull from that, just looking at the market maker's expected move. But 70% of the time, price does stay within that range, so you do want to just keep an eye on that. Now, if we look at the, let's look at the 4-hour chart and look at the strats that we have lined up for tomorrow. I'm sorry, for Monday's action. You can see once again it, you know, really condensed action. Even though this was a engulfing candle or a 3, you know, it was a small candle itself. So we want to continue to watch this 4-hour because it can be a reversal or continuation on either side because of the one that we had in the second 4-hour candle, or supposed to be second 4-hour candle of the day. You know, it didn't go the whole 4 hours because it was a shortened holiday trading day. But if we do go to the downside, we get the 3, 1, 2 down, right? Obviously entering at the low of the 1 and exiting at the low of the 3. That low, the low of the 3 happens to line up exactly with that 100% fib extension that we were talking about earlier. So, you know, even if we do get some pullback in that first 4-hour candle on Monday, watch for a bounce possibly here, or maybe a wick through and a bounce off of last week's 50% level. We talk about the previous week's 50% level a lot in our videos because it is a pretty good tell as to where price will go for the rest of the week, especially if it's tested, the 50% level is tested early on, right? So if we push down and we bounce and we get a nice bounce, we should see positive activity for the rest of the week. If we come down here and maybe just kind of dip below, dip back above, right? So we probably have a choppy week at that point. If we come through and just push straight through last week's low, now we want to look for, you know, how far are we going to pull back? Are we going to hit last week's low, or are we going to push through that? But if we just blow straight through it, then it's more than likely that the rest of the week will be, you know, below that 50% level, at best, you know, chopping around it, but probably pushing down, right? So we want to see what happens with that. If we go to the upside, then we just have a simple 3, 1, 2 up continuation, entering at the high of the 1, exiting at the high of the 3, which lines up with last week's high. So, you know, very clear entry, very clear exit on the 4-hour. On the day chart, It's very clear as well, right? We're just continuing this from this higher low, this kind of slow, I don't know, melt up if you want to call it. We did have a red day on Monday, but it was a 2 up, so we did go higher. That day's high was higher than the previous day's high, and the low was higher than the previous day's low as well. So slowly pushing up. Just looking at candle structure for this, candle itself, it does lean more towards a pullback, but this is technically a higher high, higher than this high after a higher low. So if we do pull back, as long as we don't break last week's low, we should still be all right, and continue that slow trend to the upside. Now, if we go to the downside, obviously it gives us a 2 up, 2 down. Very clear entry at the low of Friday, very clear exit at the low of Thursday. But if it does go past that, then we're in this combo 2 up, combo 2 downs, and we're looking at last week's low as the magnitude for that move. If we continue to the upside, right, it's just a 2 up continuation, continuing to push up slowly. Now we've got the 78.6 fib of the November range from 2025 right here at 45.47. So watch for a little bit of resistance there, but the major resistance is going to be up here at this 46.79, which is the 50% level of 2024. And as you can see, it's been a resistance support level, major resistance support level on the day chart. Right. Let's go ahead and look at just the notes here so we can see just the hard numbers for us, right? So for Monday, December 29th, there will be 3 trading days left in 2025. Again, shortened holiday week. The previous close, I did not change the previous close because I don't know why, but previous close was 44.21. And then we know what it takes for the month and the quarter and the year to flip red, right? If we go below 39.59, the month flips red. If we go below 34.17, the quarter flips red. If we go below 28.13, the year goes red. Again, last week of the year, only 3 days left. So highly doubt these are going to go red. Possibly the month we could get back red, but I think we're safe on the quarter and year. We'll probably finish the year green, finish that fourth quarter green, and just try and use that momentum to continue to push to the upside in 2026. We talked about the market makers expected move for the week. It's plus or minus $3.06. That gives us a range of 47.27 to 41.15. And then of course we always keep our gaps above and gaps below on our charts to make sure we know where the quote unquote magnets are at, right? Like all magnets like to get filled at some point, so we've got to know where that pull is, right? And we've obviously got more gaps to the downside. From a scalping perspective, we didn't go too deep into it today. Again, it's a little bit more of a volatile week, so it could be advantageous to you. But we look for a higher low above the opening print or the opening trading price. If you see a higher low above that price, then we look to get into calls, shooting for overnight high and previous high a day. If we get an opening print and we push down and then maybe get a little bit of a pushback up and get a lower high underneath the opening print, then we want to look to get into puts. So, targets are overnight low and previous low a day, right? So very easy scalping perspective, early morning perspective. Higher lows at or above opening print, get into calls. Lower highs at or below opening print, get into puts. And then the targets are obviously the overnight high, overnight previous high a day, or overnight low or previous low a day, right? Looking at the 4-hour chart, which we talked about earlier, if we go to the downside, we get a 3-1-2 down, triggering at 44.17. Not a lot of magnitude there, but it would take us to 43.81. If it does take us to 43.81, again, it triggers that 2 up combo 2 down, and we would have 43.51 as an extended target on the 4-hour chart. For the upside, we would have a 3-1-2 up continuation, triggering at 44.58, magnitude of 44.79. So again, not a lot of magnitude there, and we've got an extended target of 45.47, which we talked about was the 78.6 fib of that November 2025 price action. All right. Obviously, just like with the scalping on 4-hour, if we reach the extended target for the 4-hour, we want to go ahead and look at the day. If we go to the downside with that 3-1-2 down on the 4-hour, then look for, once we reach magnitude of 43.81, the 2 up 2 down would then be triggered on the day chart, triggering at 43.81 with the magnitude of 43.59. So again, not a lot of magnitude there, but we do have some extended targets of 42.22 and 41.76 out there. If we go to the upside again, it would just be a continuation, no reversal, just a two up continuation, triggering at 44.79, targeting 45.47, 46 flat, and then of course that major support resistance level, last year's 50% level, which is 46.79. Right now on the week, for the week, if we go to the downside, we would have a two up, two down reversal, triggering at 42.22. The magnitude is 35.70. We are technically in an uptrend on the weekend day, so we want to have an intermediate target in between the trigger and the magnitude, just because it is a decent size move in the face of an uptrend. So we have an intermediate target of 39.16, but ultimately the goal to the downside would be 35.70. If we reach 35.70, then we've got some extended targets listed out here as well. Now, if we go to the upside, we would have a two down combo, two up continuation, triggering at 44.79. Magnitude is 50.09. But again, even though we're in an uptrend, that's a pretty large move. That's a $6 move, and market makers are only expecting $3. So let's go ahead and make sure that we've got some intermediate targets in between the trigger and the magnitude. So we have, of course, that 46.79, but then above that 47.27, 48.05, before with that ultimate magnitude of 50.09. And if we just have a ripping week and go past that 50.09, then 50.76 is going to be that next target. Again, that is the previous lower high on the month chart. So if we get that 50.76, then we lock November in as a higher low, and we get a higher high. So that will continue or start an uptrend on the quarter chart. But looking at the month, again, we're inside on the month. So to trigger to two up, two down, combo two up, combo two down on the month, we would need to go below 28.12. Obviously, we've got our intermediate targets because it is a large move, magnitude being 23.80. Don't think we're going to hit that this month, but always got to keep everything on the notes, right? We don't make predictions, but we're just ready whichever way direction price takes us, right? So if we do get that two up trigger on the month, right, that gives us that would trigger at 50.09, like we talked about up here. 50.76 would be the magnitude of the two down, two up, and going above 50.76 would give us that higher high on the month perspective, starting an uptrend, right? If we do get past that 50.76 somehow in the next couple of days, we do have the extended targets out here for us. Now, looking at the quarter, we'd have to get all the way down to 22.57 to trigger that red 3 or the bearish engulfing candle. So don't think that's going to happen, but we'll just talk about how we did trigger that one combo two down, combo two up on the quarter chart at that 36.15 level. So as long as we're above 36.15, ultimate goal is 70.08. But we realize how big of a move that is, so we've got some intermediate targets in between. Initially hit the first two targets, but then rejected from there, and we're back trying to push at this point to hit these other intermediate targets on the way to 70.08. On the year, we talked about how we triggered the 1, 2 up, 2 down, but we have reversed it, made a higher low, got basically a green hammer candle on the year candle structure, and just looking to finish as high as we can into the end of the year, giving us the best chance to trigger that 2 down, 2 up, which would then have a magnitude of 70.08, just like the move on the quarter. So that would really line up very well, and 70.08 would probably be the magic number for 2026, at least for the first half, I would say. But yeah, there you go. There you have it. Your triggers and targets for everything from a scalping perspective all the way up through the 1 year chart. Apologies for the little bit quicker video today. Didn't go quite as deep into a couple of things. Still got a lot of family here, and feeling a little bit under the weather this morning as well. So going to try and break out and get a little bit of rest here, rest up over the weekend. That way I'm fresh for Monday. And we'll basically just end the video here like we normally do. So we hope you enjoyed today's video. Again, we tried to pack in as much information as we could without taking up too much of your time. So if you're watching this sometime over the weekend, we hope you get some good rest Sunday night, wake up refreshed on Monday. If you're watching this Monday morning or Monday during the day, we hope you got some good rest the night before and woke up refreshed and ready to trade, and we look forward to getting out there and trading with you.